There was a time in my life when my connection to the world around me deepened in ways I could never have predicted. It was as if the very essence of nature was alive, breathing alongside me, entwined with my every movement and thought. In the past, I had always felt a fondness for the natural world, a deep love for the outdoors, the forests, the earth beneath my feet. But this experience was different. It was not just a fondness. It was a profound connection. I became aware that I was not simply a part of nature, but nature itself was a part of me, and the barrier between the two began to dissolve. It's difficult to put into words, but the feeling was as if I had tapped into an ancient reverence for the earth, for life, for existence itself. As I walked through my garden that day, the sun gently warming my face, my steps felt deliberate, each one sinking into the earth like a promise. The soil beneath my feet wasn't just soil. It felt alive, like a living entity that recognized me, acknowledged me. As I wandered, I found myself moving toward a set of basalt stones I had once built into a fireplace. These stones weren't just cold rocks to me. They held meaning, memories, and now something more. The moment my feet touched them, something inexplicable happened. I knew those stones, and they knew me. It was as if there was a consciousness within them, a nobility in their being, and I could feel a powerful connection between us. I don't know how to describe it properly, but there was this unspoken acknowledgement between us, as if the stones had been waiting all this time for this very moment. They felt alive, conscious, aware of their place in the world, and aware of me. The weight of that realization pressed into me. I was standing there with an overwhelming sense that we were both noble, both serving a higher purpose. The sensation didn't leave me as I continued my walk. My body felt lighter, almost exalted, as I made my way over to a beautiful fountain I had built with my brother. The fountain stood as a testament to our shared efforts, surrounded by lush, wire-growing greenery that had flourished over time. I stopped, gazing at the water cascading down, and I couldn't help but laugh. Memories of building it with my brother flooded back to me, and in that moment, I felt a pure sense of joy and nostalgia. The laughter bubbled out of me, natural and unforced. It was as if all of the hard work and the struggles that went into building it melted away, leaving only the lightness of the memory. But then, something extraordinary happened that shifted the entire experience into another realm. From behind the fountain, a figure emerged, small, radiant, glowing with colors I had never seen before. She was a tiny woman, perhaps no taller than my hand, but her presence was immense. Her form shimmered with light, hues so vibrant they felt otherworldly, unlike anything my eyes had ever encountered. And as she stepped into view, I sensed that she was not alone. Following close behind her was another figure, a protector of sorts, perhaps a mentor or a guardian. The exact role wasn't clear, but I could feel his purpose, to watch over her, to ensure her safety as she moved through the space. This glowing woman looked at me with eyes that seemed to peer into my soul. In that instant, I thought I had reached the pinnacle of understanding, that I had achieved some level of enlightenment through my connection with nature, the stones, and the fountain. But her gaze told me otherwise. Without a word, she transmitted a message so powerful that it hit me like a tidal wave, crashing straight into my heart. The love that radiated from her was beyond anything I had ever known. A love so intense, so pure, it dwarfed my current understanding. In that moment, she communicated to me that there was always more love. No matter how much I thought I understood, there was infinitely more to experience, more to feel, more to give. The force of that realization was humbling. I stood there, overwhelmed by the depth of her message, and I felt foolish. How could I have ever thought that I had reached the height of enlightenment? There was so much more, an endless well of love, far beyond my grasp. As that truth settled in, I felt my entire being expand, my heart opening in ways I didn't know were possible. I glanced away from her, almost instinctively, and in that moment, I saw something even more profound. Before me, I saw a vision of my future self. He stood in my kitchen, washing dishes, carrying out a mundane task. At first glance, it seemed like nothing special, just a moment of everyday life. But then I realized something extraordinary. I was observing my future self, and he was watching me too. In that instant, I saw him for who he truly was. I saw his strengths, his weaknesses, his sincerity. He was me, and I was him. As I watched him, my heart filled with an overwhelming sense of love, not just for who I was in that future moment, but for who I was right then, standing in my garden, trying to understand it all. It was a profound moment of self-love, the likes of which I had never experienced before. I remember that feeling so vividly, even now. It lingered for weeks, this inexplicable sense of connection and love. It was as if the love I had felt from the glowing woman, from the stones, from nature itself, had woven its way into my very being, and it refused to leave. It stayed with me as I went about my days, making me question everything I thought I knew about reality. How could I feel something so powerful, so real, when it didn't occur in the tangible physical world? Was this experience not just as valid as anything that happened in the three-dimensional realm? That question spurred me into a deeper exploration, particularly into the mysteries of the pineal gland, the so-called third eye. This small, pine cone-shaped gland has been revered by countless ancient cultures, and for good reason. It felt like a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, a doorway to higher consciousness. I began to study it more intensely, diving into the science and mysticism surrounding it. For me, the pineal gland wasn't just a third eye. It was the first eye, the one that sees beyond the limitations of our ordinary senses. It became clear that this gland holds incredible power, unlocking access to deeper truths about existence and love. Through this experience, I came to realize that there is a guiding intelligence in the universe, a loving force that may very well be our future selves, constantly nudging us along our path of growth and evolution. This intelligence is always present, always whispering to us, guiding us toward more connection, more love, more purpose. The love I felt during that encounter wasn't something external, something to be sought outside myself. It was within me all along, part of my inner journey. And that realization, that love comes from within, changed everything.